Hello folks, UFOs around the world, Matt speaking. We have a video here. It's Jason Jorjani, is it Jorjani? Jorjani, who's on Jesse Michels, and he's speaking about Hitler's secret UFO program. Now, it's a 4-hour interview, right? It's taken me 2 days to get through this, but there's a clip here, it's an hour and 2 minutes into it, and I want to get into this part of it. And it's where he's going to speak about Roswell, and about how he thinks it was staged by the Germans. It's very interesting, this, and I'm going to share you some little things as well that I want you to go and look at after you've watched this video. So let's get straight to it, people. Let's not waste any time.
It have to do with what happened at Roswell and the need to create a vast, unaccountable, inscrutable security apparatus?
It could have been direct reaction. I believe the National Security Act was September of 1947 and Roswell was July of 1947, so a lot of people speculate that.
So here's what I think. It's a hydra. The Nazis created the crisis at Roswell. They staged an event. Now, let me not be misinterpreted, okay? As anyone who listened to our first conversation can see, I'm not by any means suggesting that, like, grays or whatever, like manufactured by Nazis, or or that all of the crashes have to do with Nazis. No, not by any stretch of the imagination.
But you think Roswell was accounted
specifically Roswell
by Nazis?
Yeah, like for example, there was a crash that Jacques Vallée gets into in his book Trinity that took place a couple years, or no.
This is interesting. I'd never heard of this. So it goes on about a crash. I think it was in Spain or something. Just take a listen to this.
3 years earlier, right after the Trinity detonation, near the test site, something came down.
It was 20 days after the test.
And the beings who were witnessed coming from out of that craft were like praying mantis, something like between a gray and a praying mantis. Childlike insectoid entities. Okay? Those were not, they didn't have anything to do with the Nazis.
Yep.
They were bull-headed, slang eyes, teardrop eyes. No ears, unless they...
Sorry, that wasn't the part. There's a part where it talks about the Germans sending UFOs across, flying discs across to the United States, I think it was. That's the bit I'm on about. This bit I have heard of. And I've also seen the picture that apparently that being was. It looked like a Chinese person. I don't want to stereotype, but it had like thin eyes, sort of, and it was put out there as being from a real UFO crash from around the 40s time. But yeah, I'll stop it when he gets to that part about them sending UFOs. I'd never heard of that before. And probably not a lot of you will have either.
They had a coating of something on it, and I noticed that their shoulders were kind of narrow, but had long arms, and surprised me that they had 4 fingers.
So I'm not suggesting that like all these crashes, okay, have to do with Nazi psychological operations. But the particular incident at Roswell, I think, did.
Really?
And
is that just based on the Franco Scorzani shooting saucers?
No, it's based on the analysis of what was recovered there. And all of it represents cutting-edge German technology. Based on Corso's testimony of the technology recovered there, and then looking into a history of cutting-edge German military technological innovations.
But 47 is 2 years after the official surrender.
And we're going to look at that after I've played this clip. I've opened a link up so I can show you where to go and look and where to go and do some research on this German stuff. Like I say, I cannot push it as much as I do. People, if you're interested in the UFO topic, go and look at the German stuff from 1922 onwards.
Surrender of VE Day, surrender of Germany. So why would they?
When you look at the instruments of surrender. So a number of things are relevant here. Let's go through them one by one. When you look at the instruments of surrender, the German Army, Air Force, Navy, and the German government surrender. The SS never surrenders.
Really?
The SS is not included in the German instruments of surrender.
Is that because they're inherently the secret police?
It's because they continued. They did not surrender. And certain particular SS officers not just continued, but developed high-level intelligence and financial relations with both the United States and the United Kingdom.
But wasn't that still under the United States? Like, I think of, Werner von Braun or a lot of these guys, they're sort of under the U.S.'s thumb. Ultimately, the U.S. sort of, wielded authority and power over them.
No.
You don't think so?
So when von Braun, who was, by the way, an SS major who used slave labor to build rockets in basically a concentration camp inside of a mountain.
And then became responsible for the American space
Yeah.
program, essentially. Yeah.
When von Braun and his buddies were down in Texas, and during the period they were in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
at one point, it was noticed by American, probably the FBI,
Mhm.
that they were going in, meeting Nazi counterparts coming from Argentina at border towns in Mexico and giving them data drops. They were giving classified American military data to their Nazi counterparts coming from Argentina
Whoa.
in meetings in Mexico. So they were confronted about this by the Americans. Next thing you know, a V-2 rocket goes off course and hits a place in Mexico.
No way.
Yeah. And the von Braun's people basically intimated to the Americans, if you make working conditions hard for us and keep grilling us like this, rockets are bound to go off course, and maybe, a war with Mexico might even start. Okay?
What?
So they were being hassled by these people in a way that suggests that these Nazis had a lot more control and latitude than the civilian government of the United States wanted to believe was the case. And I think that degree of control is coming from the deep state that was established through the National Security Act of 1947. In other words, the CIA, probably the NSA, and various other apparatuses of our deep state in America were co-constituted by the remnants of the SS. And this isn't unique to America with, like for example, the absorption of the Galen network into the OSS to create the CIA. It's also the case with the British. So Ian Fleming, who went on to write the Bond novels, was an MI6 operative whose specific mission at the end of the war was to facilitate the evacuation of Martin Bormann to Argentina.
So that's the only clip I'm going to play. This I'm going to put the link to the full interview in the description, but I do want to show you this. So let's get to the big screen here. Let's get off that. Get on this. So it's the Vril Society, the yellow book number 5, right? And you can find this on bibliotecapleiades.net, which is here. If I highlight it for you. And if you type in the German UFOs 1922 to 1944, right? I'm going to bring you down to something here. The Aldebaran. The solar system of Aldebaran is 68 light years from Earth and 2 inhabited planets which constitute the realm of Sumerian orbit around their sun. The inhabitants of this solar system are subdivided into masters, white godlike people, the Aryans. Where have you heard that before? The Aryan race, the master race, what Hitler wanted to create. The blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beautiful people, that's what he wanted to create, basically. These later developed because of a climatic change of the individual planets and were the result of degeneration of godlike people. These mutants came to have a spiritual development inferior to the godlike people. The more the races mixed together, the more spiritual development was degraded. Consequently, when the sun Aldebaran began to expand, they were no longer able to make interplanetary voyages like their ancestors. It had become impossible for them to leave their planets. Thus, the inferior races, totally dependent on their masters, came to be evacuated in spaceships and taken to other habitable planets, in spite of the differences. There was respect between these two races. They did not encroach upon each other's living space, in contrast to Earth. The race of the masters, the white godlike people, had started to colonize other planets similar to Earth 500 million years ago, following the expansion of the Aldebaran sun and the growing heat resulting from it, which made the planets uninhabitable. It was said that they colonized the planet Malona, also called Maldek, Marduk, or Fedton by the Russians, in our solar system, which existed at the time between Mars and Jupiter, where the asteroids are found today. So I'm not going to read the rest of that, but like I said, the link to it. But I want to show you as well, quickly. The first saucer-shaped craft was built in the summer of 1922. It's drive-based of implosion technology, the machine for flight to the beyond. It consisted of a disc of 8 meter diameter, surmounted by a parallel disc of 6.5 diameter. Sorry, I'm struggling to read it here on my screen. With another disc of 6 meter diameter underneath. These 3 discs had a hole of 1.8 meter through their centers, where the 2.40 meter high propulsion unit was mounted at the base. The central body terminated in the form of a cone. In this, the cone was a kind of pendulum for stabilizing of the device. So this is back in 1922, and we have some images here. So we go to some of these. Where is it? Some of the... This one here might have some of it. So these are some of the plans of some of the crafts. It's not showing you that one there, is it? Let me see if I can bring it in screen. Why is it not showing it? Let me see. 1 minute. Oh, there we go. That's one of them, the crafts, but that's not the one that I've got on my screen here. Why is it being a tit? Give me a minute. It's not opening them up for some reason. I don't know why it's not doing that. So they have the images here, and there's even one with someone stood on it. I don't know, right? There's a part in this interview where Jorjani says one of his friends was stood on a UFO. I'm just wondering if this is connected to that, what he said. I don't know where that's from. That originates from that picture. But these pictures are very interesting. You've got the plans. Actually, I can read them here. You've got the Hanabu 2, the Hanabu 3. Developed 7th of November 1943, that one. That was in the 1930s. That was in the 1940s. And this is what the Germans were looking at. This is what the Germans are working through. Like I said to people, if you head on over to Bibliotheca Lapades, which will be in the description anyway, because it's a bit of a pain in the ass to say, and go and look at all this stuff. Now, with this website, it's like an encyclopedia of everything. Every conspiracy you can think of, right? Obviously, it's not all real. You've got to work your way through it. But it is full of information for you. And for the people that need to know about the German stuff, this is a great page to do that. So much information on the German stuff. If I just click on it now, I'll show you... scroll down a bit. Should have been a bit more professional and done this, but you know, it is what it is. Right, German ET contacts, German aircraft beyond here. So German ET contacts, it's the legacy on the 20th. Has all this information on that. The Vril Society, Hitler. And it is, some of it is in Spanish, but if you right click and translate, you can translate the page to English just by doing that, and it translates it all to English for you. Very easy. Like I said, it'll be in the description. I like to send people on... I like to send them information hunting. It's no good just watching my video and taking my word for it. I just like to get you interested in something and then go and send you somewhere and you can go and get your own information on it. This will be up in the description, the full 4-hour interview, which is on Jesse Michels' channel. It's titled, I Found Hitler's Secret UFO Program. Honestly, there's so many clips I wanted to share in there, but it's unfair on Jesse. It deserves to be on his channel. There's so many different things I'd love to have covered. Maybe I'll cover another one on another video, but this one here I just wanted to cover because it's the German stuff with the Aryan race stuff as well. Like, how mad is it? They're going about the Aryans here, and he wanted to create the master race. There was certain bloodlines he wanted to get rid of on the planet. We know which ones and stuff like that. It's just interesting, people. So let me get back onto the big screen. So it's just a short video for you to go and look at. As always, please drop a like, drop a subscription, and drop a comment. And as always, I love you and leave you, and I'll see you on the next one. The next one may be a follow-up to this, coming from a different angle. Or it might not be. We'll see. Good night.